The chapter opens with the chained monarch of the beginning, Legia, responding to Jinwoo's question about why the rulers have been sending beasts to Earth. As he explained, the rulers were preparing for war, intending to turn Earth into a battlefield where they could once again confront the monarchs. Jinwoo, still confused, asked how exactly sending beasts helps in preparing a battlefield. Legia answered that the purpose was simple, to imbue the world with mana. Jinwoo's eyes lit up in shock upon hearing this. In his mind, he recalled how magic beasts emerging from gates were seen as a curse, while the mana that came with them was considered a blessing, not just by hunters, but by ordinary people as well. Mana crystals and essence stones, derived from these beasts, had become the world's greatest source of energy. He realized the rulers had been laying the groundwork for war. Legia added that there was no better way to propagate power that previously didn't exist than to spill the blood of beings who possessed it. That's why the rulers decided to use prisoners of war, beasts, as tools. As a result, the density of mana in the world had been steadily growing every day. One could say they had cultivated a field fertilized with the blood of magic beasts, now ready to reap the fruits of their labor. Furthermore, Legia said mana strengthens the world itself. The ruler's goal was to create a world that could withstand the destructive shockwaves of the coming war. Jinwoo then asked, "What war are you talking about?" Legia replied, "The rematch between the monarchs and the rulers." He warned that when it happens, the world would be transformed into a living hell. The monarch added that there was no time left. Now that they had met, both sides, the monarchs and the rulers, would no longer sit idly by. In fact, the rulers' envoys may already be on the move. Jinwoo replied, "You talk like those bastards are out to get me." Then he questioned, "Why is that?" Legia stared at him and said Jinwoo truly knew nothing. The power he possessed wasn't originally his. The fact that this power had been passed on to him meant its original owner had betrayed the monarchs. And that betrayal made Jinwoo an enemy of both monarchs and rulers. Still, Legia offered to fight by Jinwoo's side. He pleaded once more, asking Jinwoo to release him. Jinwoo stared silently at Legia and replied, "If all you want is to stand with me, wouldn't it be better if you became one of my shadow soldiers?" As he said this, half of Jinwoo's face seems to transformed, one eye glowing with the shadow monarch's power. Legia was stunned. For a moment, he seemed to see something else, something terrifying. Legia quickly shook his head and responded, "The bodies of monarchs and rulers are astral. They are destroyed upon death. That's why I cannot become your shadow." Then he asked, "Have I given you enough reason to help me?" In his thoughts, Jinwoo now understood the situation, but something still made him uneasy. It felt like he was overlooking something. He summoned a dagger into his hand and began slowly walking toward Legia. The chained monarch repeated his request, asking Jinwoo to release him. As Jinwoo approached, he asked again, "Will you stand on my side?" Legia firmly answered, "Yes, of course. If you help me, I'll return the favor." A fair and complete deal between two monarchs. With a swift motion, Jinwoo slashed through the massive chain binding one of Legia's arms. The monarch looked at his freed arm, still shaken. Jinwoo then grabbed Legia's other arm. He asked a final question, "Will you stand with humanity?" This time, Legia didn't answer. Jinwoo wondered and asked, "Why won't you speak? Is it because of the pledge of trust?" Still, Legia remained silent. That's when Jinwoo noticed the large essence stone embedded at the back of Legia's neck. He muttered, "So as long as that stone exists, the rulers can hear everything. Are they ordering you to kill humans, like the beasts?" Suddenly, Legia's eyes filled with rage. He clenched his freed fist and swung it at Jinwoo, but Jinwoo anticipated the attack and easily dodged it. "The deal's off," Jinwoo said coldly. "I can't let you live. You're too dangerous." He thrust his dagger into Legia's chest, causing the chained monarch to grunt in pain. "You might bring calamity," Jinwoo stated. Legia, blood trickling from his mouth, glared back and muttered, "You're wrong. I'm not the calamity. You are." Jinwoo released another slash, and Legia screamed. The monarch tried to retaliate, but Jinwoo easily evaded the attacks, launching more slashes in rapid succession. Blood poured from Legia's wounds. Desperately, Legia lunged again, but Jinwoo sidestepped, then countered with a storm of deadly stabs that caused Legia to cough up even more blood. Eventually, The monarch of the beginning collapsed to his knees. With his last breath, he spoke. As the battle between humanity and the captured residents of chaos escalates, this world will become a bloody battlefield. I pray that those you wish to protect will burn to ashes in the hellfire of war. Jinwoo narrowed his eyes and answered, "That's not going to happen." And with a final, powerful slash, Jinwoo severed Legia's head. A system message popped up. "You have defeated the dungeon boss. You have defeated one of the 9 monarchs, the monarch of the beginning, Legia." As Jinwoo turned to leave, Legia's head rolled across the floor. Another notification appeared. He had earned a massive amount of experience, and the system began calculating it. Jinwoo looked down at the essence stone he had acquired and muttered, "Too bad I can't turn him into a shadow soldier." He then gripped the stone. Still, this essence will make a fine prize. His level rapidly increased. After the final tally, he had reached level 122. Meanwhile, Legia's body slowly began to disintegrate. The scene shifts to a luxurious mansion in the United States. A helicopter lands, and 2 individuals step out and proceeds to the entrance of the mansion, where a man stands waiting, Christopher Reed, one of the national-level hunters. He greets the visitors, Deputy Director and Ms. Selner. "I wasn't expecting guests today," he says. "It's been a while." The Deputy Director replies that they have something urgent to discuss, and asks if others can be excused from the room. Christopher quickly agrees and instructs a nearby woman not to allow anyone into his quarters until the visitors leave. She nods and complies. In the next scene, the 3 sit together. Christopher asks, "So what brought you all the way out here?" "Don't tell me it's about that S-rank gate that recently spawned on the East Coast." "I'm telling you now, I'm not going." Ms. Selner speaks up. "That's not why we're here. The reason is far more serious." Christopher stops. "More serious than an S-rank gate?" The chapter ends as Ms. Selner tells him, "There's a chance you might be killed in the near future." The chapter opens with Ms. Selner delivering a grave warning to national-level hunter Christopher Reed. She tells him there's a high possibility that he may be killed in the near future. Upon hearing this, Christopher's eyes glow and a blue aura begins to radiate from his body. He sets his drinking glass down forcefully on the table and calmly thanks Ms. Selner for all she's done for him. However, he quickly adds in a stern tone that he doesn't believe they're on casual or joking terms. Then, he challenges her. Was she really suggesting someone out there was capable of killing him? Ms. Selner explains that she saw it in a dream. Christopher interrupts her sharply, saying, "Now look here, Ms. Selner." But she continues, telling him she saw him surrounded by men. Before she could finish, Christopher snaps, visibly irritated, and questions if they came all this way just to talk about some silly dream. He reminds her of her previous profession, how some believe she gained a unique ability after awakening, but he attributes it to her being a former psychic. Ms. Selner is momentarily speechless as a faint green glow appears in her eyes. Christopher continues, asserting that he is a national-level hunter, someone no ordinary person could kill. Still, Ms. Selner insists her vision was clear. Christopher, now more agitated, tells her not to bring up that damn dream again. But then, in a more sarcastic tone, he says, "Fine, let's say I do believe you. Who would I ask for help then?" He mocks the idea further, questioning whether there's even another national-level hunter out there who could protect someone like him. But Ms. Selner calmly responds, "There might be someone capable, Sung Jinwoo." She explains that Jinwoo's level and capabilities are enough to provide the protection Christopher needs. Hearing this, Christopher freezes in surprise. The scene then shifts to Japan. Jinwoo is seen emerging from a dungeon gate. As he reflects, he recalls having to kill Legia. Though Legia was shackled in special chains, Jinwoo still felt the overwhelming power radiating from him. Jinwoo believes he made the right decision. Releasing Legia into the outside world could have ended disastrously. Holding the essence stone in his hand, Jinwoo silently acknowledges that he must continue to grow stronger. News of the giant's defeat quickly spreads across the globe. Social media explodes with posts about the emergence of a new national-level hunter. Unlike during the Jeju Island raid, it's not just Koreans talking this time. The whole world is paying attention. In China, a giant managed to cross the sea but was swiftly taken down by Legia gang. The scene shows him sitting atop the defeated giant with his twin swords stabbed into the monster's corpse. Meanwhile, in Japan, Chairman Matsumoto of the Japanese Hunters Association surrenders himself to the authorities. Whether it was out of guilt or responsibility remains uncertain. Across the world, in the U.S. state of Maryland, the government organizes a party to celebrate a successful S-rank raid completed by American hunters. Two hunters chat casually. One comments that because it was an S-rank gate, the government spared no expense. The other agrees, saying the raid wasn't even that difficult. Suddenly, a large man approaches. Their conversation comes to a halt. The man is revealed to be Thomas Andre. He reminds them of a bet they once made about Sung Jinwoo. One owes him a yacht, and another a house. He turns to the third man, unable to recall what he wagered. The man replies that he didn't place a bet. Thomas grins and compliments the man's expensive-looking tie, saying he likes it, even though the man insists again that he didn't make a bet. Despite this, Thomas takes the tie anyway and asks a nearby woman if it suits him. She replies that while it looks expensive, it doesn't match his Hawaiian shirt. Upon hearing this, Thomas removes the tie and tosses it aside. The conversation then turns serious. The woman informs Thomas that the list of invited guilds for the upcoming International Guild Conference has been released, and the Ajin Guild from South Korea is on it. Thomas is surprised, and the woman confirms that it's the guild founded by Sung Jinwoo. Thomas grins, adjusts his glasses, and, with a yellow glow in his eyes, says, "Well, I guess he'll be coming to the States then." Back in Japan, Jinwoo stands surrounded by the shadows of the giants he defeated. Someone behind him comments, "Incredible." Jinwoo responds, "Too bad one of them crossed the ocean. Still, I managed to improve my strength." Onlookers are awestruck by what they've witnessed. Some question if this truly is Sung Jinwoo's ability. Meanwhile, Jinho looks proudly at the amazed crowd, thinking this must be their first time witnessing Jinwoo's power in person. Ms. Hanakawa approaches Jinho and hands him a phone. He assumes the call is for Jinwoo, but she corrects him. It's for him. Jinho answers and is immediately stunned by what he hears. He quickly apologizes to Jinwoo and says he must return to Korea due to a family emergency. Jinwoo asks what happened, but Jinho says he doesn't know yet, only that he was urgently told to return. Soon, Jinho boards a helicopter, escorted by Hanakawa. As they lift off, Jinho recalls the shaky voice of his mother on the phone. He wonders what could have happened, but reassures himself that it might not be too serious. The scene shifts to Incheon International Airport in South Korea. Jinho is picked up by his father's assistant, who informs him a car is waiting. The assistant tells Jinho to stay strong and that he'll explain everything on the way. Jinho grows increasingly anxious. At the hospital, Jinho learns the devastating news. His father, Chairman Yoo Myung-han, has fallen into an eternal slumber. Jinho rushes, but the assistant stops him, explaining that being near a hunter who cannot control their mana might worsen the chairman's condition. Jinho stops, then mutters to himself that perhaps he'll never be anything more than a useless son. The assistant then hands him a notebook, something the chairman had been working on before losing consciousness. He had kept it just in case the chairman woke up, but now believes Jinho needs it more. As Jinho opens the book, he's overwhelmed with emotion. Inside are countless newspaper clippings and articles about Jinho's accomplishments. Through tears, Jinho notes how people say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It turns out his father had a habit just like his, to collect and scrapbook things he cherished. The assistant explains that the chairman had saved everything related to his children: tournament results, exhibitions, competitions, and most recently, Jinho's achievements. As tears fall onto the scrapbook, the assistant adds that the chairman didn't neglect him. He simply had high expectations because he loved him deeply. The assistant then suggests they return home. As they walk away, Jinho suddenly feels a tap on the back of his neck. He turns around, startled, but no one is there. The assistant asks if something's wrong, but Jinho brushes it off. Just then, Jinwoo begins to materialize behind him with a smile and says, "What's with the waterworks, Jinho? You're breaking my heart." Inside the hospital room, Jinwoo opens a bottle of the holy water of life and approaches the unconscious chairman. Meanwhile, outside, a woman, Jinhee, Jinho's older sister, arrives at the hospital. As she walks in, she notices a man in black long sleeves leaving the hospital. Back in the room, Chairman Yu suddenly wakes and softly says, "Jinhee." She rushes to his bedside, tears in her eyes, and embraces him tightly, calling out, "Dad." The chairman is confused, wondering if she means he has truly awakened from eternal slumber. The doctors are stunned. No one has ever recovered from such a state. One of them remarks that once the media hears of this, it will become a sensation. Outside the hospital, Jinwoo stands silently, watching from a distance. He smiles and turns away, saying, "It's a bit early, but happy birthday, Jinho." This chapter concludes the Japan Crisis arc and sets the stage for the next, the International Guild Conference arc. Jinwoo is invited to America to represent South Korea at the prestigious Global Summit of Elite Guilds. But as the world begins to recognize his power, an ancient threat stirs. The Monarchs, sworn enemies of the rulers, begin their long-awaited rematch by targeting the rulers' vessels, starting with Christopher Reed.